Hello and welcome back to CEO.CA's Inside the Boardroom. Today we are joined by Dryden Gold Corp. Specifically, we have Trey Wasserman, CEO and Director, and Maura Kolb, President. Trey, Maura, how are you doing today?
Great.
Great. Thanks for having us, James.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited today to be talking about some high-grade results you just put out, a big update since Beaver Creek when we last spoke. Perhaps, Maura, you can tell us about these record high grades that you're seeing at the Elora project.
We're really excited about Elora, and these are some of the deeper holes that we've drilled on the property. It's very nice to see the alteration and mineralization over the same sort of widths we have been seeing them at Elora, and then to have that nice flashy visible gold, we are pretty thrilled. We have 2 other holes pending still on Elora, and they look promising as well, so more to come.
Fantastic. And can you maybe put those holes in the context of the wider exploration program that's been ongoing at Elora?
Yeah, absolutely. So Elora is part of our Gold Rock property. That's kind of in the heart of the main Dryden district. We have here 3 different parallel vein sets, and we've been looking at them for high-grade shoots within them. So we have these 3 trending structures that all kind of match the main deformation zone. And then there are east-west structures that cross those. We believe that's the control of the high-grade mineralization in this area. And what we've done is target those. Elora is one of those high-grade structures, but we've also drilled several others. One of the historic mines, the Laurentian, which had an average grade of 14 grams per ton, is located on one of these cross structures. So we really feel we're onto something with this control and targeting the specific reason for the high grade. And so now we have several new high grade targets since our starting of our drilling last spring.
Excellent. And you mentioned there are 2 holes still pending. Do you have a sense of when those might be released?
Yeah, we're still working through cutting some of this core. We did 9 holes in this program. We have several at the lab right now, several kind of in queue to get off to the lab. We also just set up our own core shack. We've been working on the relogging campaign that we talked about. We've got 20,000 meters of historic core that was very selectively sampled. So a lot of really exciting projects have been going on over the summer. And we also just wrapped up our summer field campaign. So we should start to see the results trickling in over the next couple months with the drill results, but also the other 2 programs I mentioned.
Excellent. Well, I got a couple of follow-up questions that we're going to get to in a few moments, but maybe Trey, for viewers who aren't so familiar with the Dryden story, walk us through the history of the company. Going public this year, what was that journey like?
Well, yeah, James, look, we started in early 2022 to put this property package together. And this is, really a very unusual district in that the infrastructure is incredible, runs right along the Trans-Canada Highway. Highway 502 bisects our most of our properties, and Ontario Grid Power runs right through the property. So an area that you would think had been fully explored, but just hasn't. And there's a few reasons for that, but we don't really need to get into that. What the bottom line is we have a very strategic land package here in an area that has excellent infrastructure that has never seen any real consolidated approach to really a geological model for prospecting, and yet we have 50 kilometers of strike on the main deformation zone with high grade gold from top to bottom, and the high grade gold starts at surface. So we're just scratching the surface here of something that could be very, very big, and we're very excited about it.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that overview. You've also recently closed multiple times upsized financing. Walk us through, what was it like raising capital at the moment? How is that money going to be put to use?
Well, raising capital in this market is challenging, and especially for junior exploration companies. And we have even from the time when we were a private company, we've been very well received. We have a who's who list of shareholders that really in this recent financing, we added Rob Cohen from the 1832 fund, the dynamic funds, and Bob Quartermain put in a personal investment. And, that's on top of Eric Sprott and Rob McEwen. We have really, I could drill down for a while here on that, but this financing was upsized 3 times because of demand. And, it started out being a $2 million flow through financing and grew ultimately to a $5.1 million financing with the upsizing. So we're very fortunate here, but I think it speaks to the fact that we have a great team, a great property, and a great story here. And the smart people in the industry are really realizing that.
Fantastic. And you mentioned the great team. I want to speak more maybe to some of your background. Obviously, you were at Red Lake previously. Walk us through some of your experience and maybe some of the similarities we're seeing between Red Lake and the properties at Dryden.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to join Trey. I had spent 8 years in Red Lake. I was 5 years the exploration manager for the Red Lake mine. And then I had the opportunity to also work regionally with the Battle North group. So I couldn't help but notice right away that in the Gold Rock camp, we have the same sort of folding architecture and the same faults. So they look strikingly similar on the map. And then as we drilled in deeper, we started to notice through the geophysics, the mapping, and our drilling that we had similar alterations. We had 3 styles of mineralization that are the same, and the similarities just keep adding up. So the controls of mineralization in Red Lake are related to the overall fold architecture and fault intersections, and that's what we see so far in Gold Rock as well. So it's a pretty exciting similarity because, man, Red Lake's a pretty world-class camp, 30 million ounces mined there. That'd be something to certainly emulate. And then for my background, I'm a structural geologist, so this kind of complex structures really gets me excited. Leading the Red Lake team, we did a lot of work on the reserve replacement. We brought our costs down from, $300 discovery ounce to $50. My background is really all about making the best bang for our buck in terms of discoveries. I've taken a discovery from first hole into production. So I come at this with a different kind of mindset of what actually makes sense and what could be mineable. And I think that helps make it not a science project and more of something real that we can bite our teeth into.
Fantastic. And in terms of next steps, Maura, when we're looking at next season's exploration campaign and really defining this as a district play, can you walk us through what some of those plans are?
Absolutely. Well, this financing is very, very helpful for us. We've been working on understanding the background and the science of what will control gold, and that's really key in being able to follow up with the results that we announced earlier this week. So it'll be 2-phased. We're going to continue to work on the Gold Rock camp where we have a brownfields opportunity, historic mining and drilling, and those high-grade shoots that we've started to define, we're going to follow up on those. That'll be about 60 to 70% of the work that we do. But we have this incredible district play. We have 600 square kilometers, a really big footprint, and we've been very strategic about where we picked up this ground. It's along the major mineralized structure that's been compared to the Porcupine Duster Fault, which is a pretty big deal, and that's by Metal Earth. So we're going to be focusing on that, as well as the cross structures that we've seen to carry gold as well. So we've been working on regional targets this summer. We'll get that fieldwork back and start to piece those in. And I think when you look at this, we need to continue to deliver high grade in the Gold Rock camp, but strategic investments that may come in the future, the major and mid-tier mining companies that we've been talking to, they're really interested in the district potential here. So we haven't forgotten about that. And that's kind of our 2-phased approach. We look at the short-term high grade that we can find in Gold Rock, and then what could be the next major discovery in this camp.
Fantastic. Sounds like there's lots to get excited about.
Absolutely.
Trey, in your own view, what sets Dryden apart and why is now a good time for investors to get involved?
Well, look, I mean, we think that the optionality in the investment in Dryden Gold right now, and, we're enterprise value today with the cash we have in the bank and our shares outstanding about 15 million. And it's not a stretch to, when we are comparing ourselves to the potential in the Red Lake camp, which produced, as Maura said, 30 million ounces. But you have to understand that the potential here is at depth. So we're very excited that our recent results were not only our highest grade to date, but also our deepest holes. And these systems, we're just scratching the surface. We're drilling at 220 meters depth. The historic mining in this camp was very high grade, but only to 150, maybe 200 meters. And, most of the deposits in this part of the world, whether you look at Red Lake or Kirkland or the Timmins camp, these mines, these organic systems tend to be very deep and go 1 kilometer to 2 kilometers. So these high-grade structures we're drilling on now, if we can continue to prove that they get not only maintain grade, but the grade improves at depth, which is, again, typical of these camps, then, we really have something here that it's just been underexplored. There's a lot of reasons for that we don't have to get into now, but, this is a camp that has incredible potential, and the optionality in Dryden Gold from a $15 million enterprise value to what could be a significant new gold camp in Northwest Ontario with excellent infrastructure is, it's kind of the sky is the limit here.
Fantastic. Well, Trey, Maura, congratulations on those high-grade results you just put out. Looking forward to more updates from Dryden in the near future. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks for having us.